We are back at it again here with another video with Invest for tomorrow. To the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all subscribers, welcome back. Our last firm returns for you guys to smash that like button, and here we are with APE, the APE stock from AMC, the dividend spinoff, and also we're going to talk about AMC, GCT, and the overall market here because we're going to break down these charts. Every single one of them was pulling down lower, as you could see popping up here on the screen. Our SPY bot sent out a bear indicator since 7:05 a.m. There was weakness in the pre-market. After the bell, continued to pull down. Outflows actually crossed downwards, and put options went up 200% plus, guys. You can now gain access as well to our 42 vision indicators, getting connected to our bots, and becoming part of a community of investors that are all looking to learn and grow together and maximize within the volatility. The link is down below in the description. So here we are with AMC, the spinoff with APE, and then also we're going to talk about AMC, GCT, and what the SPY is showing as well, and the QQQs and everything that's going on in these charts. Because these stocks are being watched, a lot of people are speculating they can come back up, but we need to break down the key levels that the charts are showing. Before we break it all down though, I want to share with you guys the home run opportunities I mentioned this morning over at the Discord. And as you see popping up on the screen, these are some of the home runs we managed to find last week and this week so far. We strive for opportunities like these every single day. While not guaranteed to be this way, we strive for them. The home runs of the day were spectacular and beyond expectations. And if you guys want to know about these stocks early on in the pre-market, check out the link down below in the description to the Discord. And by joining, you'll become part of a growing community of investors all looking to learn and grow together. So these are the two stocks I mentioned this morning. Both of them gave jumps of 20% plus. They turned out to be phenomenal, turning out to be home runs. And this is when we caught them. We caught SMMT sitting sideways in the pre-market. It was under the outflows of the midpoint. Inflows got crossed. They went up. Full strength here. Got that bull indicator and full strength on 42 vision. Highest point of 25% plus. The other one was SVRV. It crossed the inflows, sat sideways, held above it, got that bull indicator, and full strength, jumping up a highest point of 20% plus within minutes, guys. If you guys want to know about these stocks early on in the pre-market, check out the link down below in the description to the Discord. We look forward to having you join us, and we strive for opportunities like these every single day. Let's jump into these charts. So here we are with APE, and as you could see here at the beginning of the day, things were very euphoric. They ran up nearly almost 30% plus and then pulled down for most of the day. This wasn't the only stock falling though, and we're going to look at these charts together. A lot of investors are paying attention to them. They're looking for squeeze opportunities or hyper momentum, and we're going to break it down with our 42 vision indicators, which you can now gain access to as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 vision indicators, getting connected to our bots, and becoming part of a community of investors that are using these resources to maximize within the volatility in either direction. And we also have our inflow versus outflow indicator now available that gives that extra edge and confirmation within the volatility. So here we are with APE. It's sitting sideways here at the end of the day, trying to bounce back up, and it's sitting at the $6 mark. It hit lows here of $5.20. Now, a lot of people are stating that this is a dilutive process, not only to the AMC share, but to APE itself, okay? Now, it's a very interesting concept. It's something completely different that we've never seen before, but since AMC is directly tied in some way, shape, or form, indirectly or directly to APE, it's going to affect its chart, and we're going to look at this together. So since this just recently got released and traded today, there's not enough data on bigger time frames, right? You go to the 30-minute, you don't see much. You go to the 15-minute, you see that it's in a dip area trying to bounce back up. But when you go to the 5-minute, you could see here our inflow versus outflow indicators and the bull and bear indicators popping up within the volatility. Now, this bear indicator has been canceled from way up here at $7 with this bull indicator down here at $5.59. Now, inflows got crossed, but quickly after, things are pulling right back down in the aftermarket hours. Even though it's under a bull indicator, the outflows might start dominating if it crosses back down. And that's going to affect tremendously the chart. As you can see here, when the inflows picked up from right around this area and that bull indicator popped up, it popped up from 560 all the way to 683, nearly a 20% plus jump. And then things have been going to the outflows from way up here down to this level. Now, the only thing that's allowing it to find support here is that it has not crossed the midpoint. Going into tomorrow, I'm going to be watching the 5-minute. If it holds above the midpoint and if inflows pick back up to continue the strength here and retest this resistance level way up here where it rejected, and it was a previous rejection point that made this go even lower for most of the day up here at the 680 mark. Super important, 3 rejections in one day. If it could break above it, it could possibly go back up towards 764, even up here towards 770. And I'm going to be watching for these inflows to pull away from the midpoint. If it crosses to the downside, it could retest these lows. And now we're going to talk about AMC. AMC is going to be very important here as we see it, because AMC is going to have an indirect correlation for the time being, or probably for the rest of its trading days, to APE, okay? Because they go ahead hand in hand. Now on the 5-minute, a lot of volatility here. Inflows slightly got crossed, then the outflows again, and it's been back and forth all day. And the outflows have dominated. Every time it came into the inflows, quickly rejected the rest of the day. And you could see how the outflows have taken over. Now, that is not the only thing though. When you zoom out though, and we look at this from the 15-minute, we look at this from the 30-minute, you can see that it's been under a bear indicator since August 17th, and the outflows got crossed since then. Every single time it's tried coming back up, it quickly rejects, and the outflows have dominated all this time. Now, in the aftermarket hours and today in the pre-market, it had a small chance to go ahead and try to cross over, and it rejected right there again, and the outflows have dominated. Now, there were inflows picking up, but not enough to impact the chart. The outflows have been outweighing the inflows, and this is why it's so important to understand the flow, right? Where is the money going? And that's the goal with the inflow versus outflow indicator, which you can now gain access to, and the bull and bear indicators and the shifts between the rips and the dips with 42 vision to allow us to have that edge and see what's going on. This is all about clarity and maximizing within the moves in either direction and saving time. You know how many people probably thought this was the dip and it was going to come back up, or this was the dip and it was going to come back up, and this is now the dip and it's going to come back up? For as long as these outflows dominate, not just on the 30-minute, but you could go to the 4-hour. It all started way back here on the 17th, crossed those outflows, and it's been dominating downward trend all this time and impacting the chart. This was a rip area, this was a complete dip area, and usually in the dip areas, the last one we had was way back here on July 26th, and then followed by consolidation or strength back up and a possible bull indicator. There could be a move to come, especially if it crosses the inflows like it did here and it went higher, right? So right now we're in a dip area, not guaranteed to bring itself back up or that the run is going to be exactly the same like it did here. But when these dip areas are found and the inflows start to pick up and they're followed by that momentum and bull indicator, they could rip. But not every single reversal has the same strength, right? You can go back in time and the white with red borders, this one was pretty small, this one was a little bit larger. But once it gets that bull indicator and those inflows cross, things tend to get moving, right? This is all about getting in on the move to the downside when it crosses down or to the upside. Now, let's go ahead and talk about GCT. I know a lot of people are watching this one. They're hyped up about it. They're excited. And it made big moves last week, right? It had a big move on Friday from way down here at $15 to highs here of 60, nearly 4xing. And here we are pulling back really fast. Now, since this recently IPO'd, there's not a lot to track here, right? We just have one bear indicator on the 30-minute that popped up at $48, rejected twice around 47. Super important to keep that level of resistance in mind. Then above that would be back towards 60. And to the downside, we want to see this hold support above 31. That gets broken through, the next one is $25. Now, when you zoom into the 15-minute and 5-minute, we could see a little bit more of what's going on. Now the stock did hit rip areas, and now it hit a dip area today for the first time while with red borders, and it had a slight reversal here of almost 20 to 30% and rejected right around where that bear indicator popped up. But you could see here how quickly the outflows started to dominate again shortly after on that pullback, and here in the aftermarket hours the outflows are outweighing the inflows, right? We crossed the midpoint and we're below it. That means that the outflows have more control and dominance over the chart right now, and the inflows need to fight to bring it back up towards the midpoint and gain domination over the chart again, or the outflows could continue to pull it downwards and maximize to the downside for the bears, right? The bears are actually putting up a fight here versus the bulls. So right now on the 15-minute, it crossed those outflows and it's under a bear indicator way up here at $49. On the 5-minute, same thing. Outflows cross right before the midpoint here at the end of the day, and then you got that bear indicator before close, and you could see that full transition there from the dip area to the rip area. When it crossed the outflows back into the inflows, it was consolidated and then it actually ripped. That's what this is all about again, right? To be able to see the dips from the rips, bull and bear indicators as extra layers of confirmation, and the inflow versus outflow gives us that edge within the volatility to see what is dominating, right? Is more money coming in or coming out? That's what moves stocks. That's what moves markets. That's the whole goal with this. Now, let's go ahead and look at the SPY. So the SPY for most of the day, it was under a bear indicator and things continued to go lower. And at open, it was looking like it was holding itself up above the midpoint, quickly crossed it, and it fell for the next like 2 hours and a half. Then it was getting bought up, but not enough to pull away from the midpoint. If not, it crossed it, sat sideways. That's why we got that consolidation and quickly went right back below it, and things continued to go down. Now, inflows picked up here towards the end of the day, and it ended up here with the bull indicator, but this is based off the 5-minute. When we zoom out and we look at the 15-minute, you will see that things are still not over the outflows and inflows, right? The outflows right now are dominating. The inflows have not crossed back over the midpoint. That's what I'm going to be looking for going into tomorrow if there's going to be some real strength. And on top of that, on the 30-minute, it still has a lot more work to do. Look how far it is from the midpoint as I drew it. On the 15-minute, you could see it there, zoomed in, what the 15-minute is focused on, and then the 30-minute, way further away from it. Even though it turned from red to green, it is still below in those outflows. And the outflows popped up on Friday, and things have been pulling down since last Friday. Those inflows lost traction, the outflows started to dominate, and we've been below it for the last 2 days. And today at the open, it just went ahead and collapsed even lower, right? Was trying to hold itself up, and it just fell even lower further from Friday, right? So super important to watch these levels, what's going on here with these inflows versus outflows, and the supports and resistance on APE stock, AMC stock, and GCT. I hope you guys learned something new, found this informative. I look forward to seeing your thoughts down below. And as always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.